Madam, it is live now. You can start.
And recording here, it looks as paused. So that also you need to resume. Okay.
Yes, done. Madam.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I think this is the fifth session that we are doing on the Pune AI Tools initiative that we have started. I am CA Neha Fadke, Treasurer of Pune branch. And our today's session will be conducted by CA Rishir Soni. He is as described by him, he is an AI enthusiast. So I think there is a lot of enthusiasm in us also to hear you, Rishir. And since this being more of not a very formally structured sessions, we skip the part of introductions and normally the things we have at in our normal sessions, and we request the speaker to introduce himself so that it is the best introduction that we can have from the person himself or herself. So before we start today's session, thank you everyone for joining. Today's session will be on Gemini, and I am sure Rishir will share his experience of Gemini with us, and maybe also share a few used cases or prompts with us, which would be helpful for us. So, over to you, Rishir, and I request you to start with your introduction. And for the people who have joined, I request you to join with your name so that we know who all have joined us. And while you ask questions, also, Rishir will be able to address you with your names. So it would be helpful. Thank you so much. Over to you, Rishir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So I'll just share up my screen and begin my deliberation with introducing myself. I'm CA Rishar Soni. I am a practicing chartered accountant. I am also a graduate in law as well as in commerce, the BCom degree, which is there. You can see right here. And apart from that, when it comes to, let's say, my passion, I'm a filmmaker. I make short films, I write and direct short independent films. So today, I'm here to talk to you about how you can leverage the power of deep research in ChatGPT, Gemini, all those platforms. We'll be primarily looking at Gemini itself. So I hope that you also have an account which is created on Gemini. In the introduction message I sent earlier on Sunday, I believe, I also shared the link of Gemini itself. So let me just begin by saying what deep research essentially means. Now, you all have done some sessions in the past 3 or 4 weeks, if I'm not wrong. And over there, you have learned some kind of prompt engineering, maybe some automation, some other developments, all those kind of things, right? Okay, is my voice audible? I'm getting a chat over here that I can be a little bit louder. Let me know if it's audible. So you can just reply on the chat or maybe raise your hands if you wanna well react to what I'm asking to you. Okay, it's audible. Perfect. All right. So as I was saying earlier, this image properly summarizes what exactly deep research is. Deep research is something which is beyond your normal scope of prompting. The way in which we talk to ChatGPT, Gemini, all these platforms, deep research is something which, okay, the voice is low. Let me just fix that up. Just give me one moment. And let's see. All right. So I hope the voice is much better now. Just give me a message and then I can continue. Okay, still low. Not a problem. Okay, it's perfect now. All right, so you may check with your audio, your speakers as well. I'll try to be as loud as possible. Now, when we talk about deep research and when we talk about your normal chat, so you can see when we are simply looking for search results, quick facts, basic summarization, basic tool-based working, bullet-based working, drafting of basic reports, we often just go with the normal prompt engineering which is there. But deep research is something which also looks into every nook and corner of the internet. It tries to identify whatever you're searching for, whether it is already present in the internet, whether there's any comparative information present in the internet, and gives you a complete report which is, let's say, 5 6 pages long, 11 pages long, having each and every element which you're trying to research, right? So I'm not going to keep this in a presentation format. It's going to be an interactive session. So what I'm going to do here is I'll be sharing a prompt with you all. In this prompt, what we are trying to do is basically performing a deep research for a viability study of a business for a company. Let's say if you're practicing, there has to be one way or another. One client would come to you and say that I have this business idea and I want to understand whether this business idea is viable or whether it is feasible to operate in the manner, right? So this is going to be that kind of a use case. So let me just share the prompt here in the chat window. Just give me one moment and I'll share you one prompt over here. Then we'll try to do another deep research. In that, I would ask you to identify and design the elements of the prompt which can be used, which can be the suited for deep research working, right? So this is one sample prompt which I'm sharing with you. And also let me know once I share it in the chat that you are able to copy it. Otherwise, I may have to share it on the WhatsApp group or something like that. So I'm just uploading up the document for you. Just give me one moment. All right. Okay, so I have shared a Word document with you on the chat. Just give me a thumbs up or let's say yes or no if you're able to download that particular document or open that particular document. I'll also open up the document here on the screen so that we can have a look at what we are looking for in terms of the prompt and what we are basically trying to use in deep research. So let's say I have a client who comes to me for a feasibility study and let's say a due diligence report. He has an idea of e-waste recycling plant. The entity name is Green Loops Dynamics Private Limited. They want to set up in the SEZ area of Madhya Pradesh, which is close to here in Indore. And the input feed and financials, basic information which the client gives to us, they have given it that what kind of capex they are looking at, what kind of basically input would be there, what kind of output would be there, those kind of questions are there. Now there is a certain certificate which if it drops by 20%, is the business viable even with the price drops and everything? So this is what the client has given to us. The project parameters which you can see in the prompt itself, this is what the client will give to us in an informal manner. Let's say it's just a simple conversational manner, right? So the first thing which you need to do, especially when it comes to deep research, is to design a prompt by yourself. Now, how do you design a prompt? You might have heard or listened to that fact that when you design a prompt, there has to be context, there has to be an objective, and there has to be a role. So this is the exact same thing which we are trying to do here. Let's say we act as a lead investment banker, environmental consultant, or maybe basically any kind of a chartered accountant. And the objective is to conduct a feasibility study in due diligence report. Then we give the project parameters in simplest of the term. What is the entity? What is the location? If there are any financials given by the client itself, then we can add it over here. If they are not, then we can just keep it as little as possible, because deep research will definitely ask us to evaluate certain assumptions, ask us to basically approve the steps which it will follow. So I hope till this point everybody is clear when it comes to prompting. First thing which we need to do is give it end to end every scenario which is there. Those are the what if scenarios, the financials, the non-financials, the entire situation, everything. Of course, after taking permission from the client that you will be uploading this to AI. Once all this is done, all you have to do is give it the required output structure. Right. So here what we want, the deep research, at the end of deep research, we should be able to have an executive summary, market intelligence report, regulatory and compliance framework in this kind of a business model, what are the financial modeling inputs which can be there, what are the risk analysis which are there, and what can be the next steps of funding. Can it be venture capitalist, seed funding, angel financing, what all different kinds of fundings are there. So whatever is best suited for this business, we'll try to identify that, and the deep research report will provide us with the relevant solutions. So now I'm going to open up my Gemini. It's basically a Google based platform. It's equivalent to what ChatGPT is. The only difference is that this is from Google, that is from OpenAI. Now, the first thing which you need to do here is once you open up a new chat, you have to click on the tools icon, which is right here in the prompt window. The moment you click on that, the first or second option must be deep research. So just get to that and then paste the prompt which I've shared with you. Let me know if I'm loud and clear till now, and if you want me to go slow, if you want me to let's say explain anything again, then I'm all here right now for the next hour. But first, what we are trying to do here is we have simply just pasted the prompt into the deep research platform. Perfect. So we have pasted the prompt into the deep research prompt window. Again, I'll just repeat myself. Once you log into Google Gemini, you'll be able to see a prompt window just like you do in ChatGPT. Here, there is an option for tools or agents. Once you click on that, you will be able to find deep research over there. Even if it's the free version, you get some limited deep researches in a month. I think if I'm not wrong, it's 5 deep researches per month in the free version. And even if it's in the paid version, you get around 30-35 deep researches. Again, that's way too many deep researches to exhaust in a single month. I'll tell you why also. So once you have pasted this, just hit enter. And now you'll see the difference as to what Gemini can do when we are simply prompting versus what it can do while we are deep researching. So it's going to think about it from different perspectives, different angles, create an entire research plan and present that research plan to you first. Instead of directly giving an answer, it's going to give you an entire research plan and ask for your permission to whether go ahead with the research or do you need to make any changes in the plan. So you can see here, it has put up a plan together and it has given us some options. So let's just have a look at it. So it's going to search for websites. It's going to search for Indian startups specializing in AI-driven diagnostics, company based in NCR or Bangalore or Delhi. Um it's going to basically search on radiology or medical imaging, fund status of mid-size. Okay, sorry. Just a moment. I might have just pasted a different prompt. Yes, so that's on my end. Let me just edit the prompt again. Also, just let me know if you have the second prompt also with you, which has some sort of an hospital-based merger and acquisition strategy. Just give me a response in the chat if you have the due diligence in terms of the feasibility study, or do you have the hospital-based due diligence also? So it was just a small technical error. I have just corrected the prompt right here. Now it's going to give me a plan based on the deep research for this kind of a feasibility study and due diligence report. So let's just give it a moment to load and then we can go ahead. Okay. So here's a research plan. Again, the entire plan is mentioned by the Gemini itself. That will start for researching the average recovery yields of precious metals, gold, palladium, copper, all those things which would be applicable for printed circuit boards. The lithium ion batteries which are there, retrieve the current LME prices for copper, gold, palladium. We can also mention in the prompt whether it's India specific. The next statement here is it will investigate the current trading price of EPR certificates in India itself and also identify capital subsidies, determine industrial electricity tariffs, all those MP related regions, and at the end also provide us if whether venture capitalist firms are well looking for such kind of an investment or not. Right. So I feel that this kind of flow of research is okay. So what I'll do is instead of clicking on edit plan, I'll just go ahead and start the research. Now this is where it becomes interesting. AI is infamously known for not exactly giving a transparent solution. It never tells you why it is generating a certain response while it is generating the response, right? But in deep research, it's a little bit different. Now, if you can see, the deep research starts right over here and a window opens on the right hand side. Okay, before that, I have a particular query from Sunil ji. Can we give an audio prompt? So you can definitely give a text-based prompt or text to audio, or audio to speech kind of prompt, speech to text-based prompts. But at the end, it all drills down to this button which is there in the bottom. You have to make sure that you select the deep research button over there before hitting enter on the prompt. Now, as I was saying earlier, AI tools are not very transparent in terms of what the output they are generating. That's why hallucinations happen. That's why we are not able to correct an AI tool when it is giving us a response. Right. But in deep research, the difference here is that each and every step, what it's doing to perform that research, it's going to show us in that right hand side window, which you can see right now. So, step one, it quantified the urban mine. It gave some sort of basic investigations on recovery of gold, palladium, copper, all those different materials on lithium ion batteries and circuit boards. It checked out the compliance environment, what rules will be applicable to the particular business, then what are the financial inputs, regional inputs, whatever different financial and non-financial, environments which would be affecting the business. And then it started researching on website. Now, why did I pick Gemini for this particular research? Because ChatGPT can also do deep research. There is another tool called Perplexity that can do deep research. But why did I pick Gemini specifically? Because lately, what's going on is that Google has been picking up in the AI race because of its integrated system from your internets to your Gmail to your Google Sheets, Docs, Slides, all those different ecosystem. Google has integrated Gemini through and through. And that's why Google has a little bit more advantage in terms of the database it can search, the internet it can search, and can provide you a much more comprehensive information from across the web as compared to ChatGPT, as well as in case of Perplexity. Now, just for the sake of it, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open ChatGPT in a new tab. Now, this is just for your viewing purposes. If you want, you can try it out yourself. But here's what I'm going to do. Basically, I have copied the entire prompt which was there in the chat GPT, in the Gemini which was there, which we have put in the Gemini while it is researching. I'm going to do the same thing here and I'm going to run a deep research here itself. Now here the difference would be, so here the difference would be, major difference here is that instead of giving us a research plan, ChatGPT is going to ask us 5 questions which it wants the answers to. It can be 5 different questions for you. It is 5 different questions for me. So I'm just going to give a one-liner answer for all these 5 questions which it has asked. What is the timeline for Horizon? Let's say I want a 5-year cash flows. I'll just simply answer the questions in one lines. I'll say I want a hybrid process. Now, I don't know much into details about this. The business owner might know about it, so I might ask them about this. Then, are we targeting industrial grade or investment grade metals? So I would say industrial grade. Then we have land infrastructure, no land acquired. And after that, we have, okay, we also have one thing which is EPR sales. Should I consider EPR revenues also or include battery related EPRs as well? So I'll just write both. Now, I have not written what's the answer to 1, 2, 3, or 5, but it has automatically understood what I'm trying to say to it. And then it's going to start the research here as well. Let's have a look at what Gemini has been up to till now. You can see almost 60% of the research has been completed here. And we have to now evaluate what it's going about. Right, so as I said earlier, it started researching websites, it's looking at all the different avenues, regulatory revenue stream systems, and if you want to just access any of the website, you can just kind of click on that website and the particular website will open. So here it's having a look at the charts of the previous 1 year, 6 months, 5 years, whatever they are for the palladium metal, which is there, especially in the US, if we are trying to import it from there. Now, based on all this kind of research, it's going to create a curated report for us. Let's have a look of what it generates. In ChatGPT, Okay, I hope I'm audible again. There was some issue with the mic. So yes, in ChatGPT also, just like Gemini, it has also started giving us the steps in terms of activities which it is performing, and it has given us so far 6 sources which it has searched. Now there will be a lot of common websites which it will search between this and Gemini, but let's have a look at the difference in the report which would be created. Here the Gemini report is almost ready, so let's have a look at what it's kind of creating. Meanwhile, in the chat itself, let me know if you have initiated deep research with your prompts and if your report is also generated in that case. So that would be really good to know what you are up to. Okay. So here the deep research has begin properly, and it is kind of providing us with all the activities and everything. And here it's about 75% done. It's almost at the point of compilation of whatever it has researched, and based on that it will again convert this into an entire research paper which you can directly will copy and paste it into your Word document, your existing template. Or there's an interesting feature in Gemini where you can basically create some infographics, some web pages, some documents, and all those kind of things. So we'll be having a look at all those features right now. So you can see Gemini has also created and provided us with the entire deep research report. It starts with executive summary. So what I'll do is I simply just share this and export to docs. Now this is what the end-to-end integration I was talking about. The moment you click on this, an entire Google Docs will be created in your own Google Drive if you are using that in your office. The entire Google Docs will have the entire deep research report from end to end. So you can have a look at what the executive summary is. Let's say if we want to read it out, we can read it out and review it based on here. So this could be a good starting point for any kind of report which we need to provide to our clients also. So it has given the investment strategies, it has given the macroeconomic landscape. So we have another question. While it is being researched, can we give further prompts before waiting for research details and progress? No, sir, you cannot basically enter or send any other prompts while it is researching. You can open a new chat and work on that. That's completely okay. But in the same chat, you won't be able to give any kind of prompts while the research is taking place. So you'll have to wait and work on that, because what will happen is in some cases it might even work, but in most cases what happens, it will cancel the research and try to learn about the new prompt which you're sharing. So it's kind of not preferred that once it's researching, you just let it be and let it finish the work. All right, so we've asked for multiple items, which you can see in the prompt itself. We started with the executive summary. We wanted to understand the investment and strategic rationale behind this, whether we should go for it or not, what's the current economic condition, the locational advantage which would be there, what kind of schemes or subsidies are provided there, what are the tariffs in terms of the power infrastructure and all those things, energy based tariffs, market intelligence report, what the current forecast of the precious metals look like from, let's say, 5,000 per ounce, which you can see over here. They're predicting it that this would be the rate at which it will go. And at the end of everything, the technical feasibility is there, everything is there, and once we look at the end of it, we asked it whether should we what's the conclusion, whether should we ask them to go ahead with it or should we recommend not going ahead with it. So at the end, it concludes that it represents a high potential investment opportunity. However, there is a risk reward profile which is present with there. Final verdict, it should proceed with it. It's financially viable, in national interest, insulated against specific regulatory risk identified in the due diligence query which is there. And at the end of it, it's going to give you the entire list of websites it's searched for, entire documents it's searched for. So this not only enhances your transparency in AI, but also the explainability in AI. It's also explaining why it has given that particular point based on what information, based on what websites, based on what documents. So every detailed information is there for you. Now, yes, of course, you cannot directly give this report to the client himself. you have to first review it up, maybe add some more of your information from your experience, which the deep research might have missed. But more or less, this becomes a starting point for your entire report, which you can present to the client. Now, if I'm not wrong, for those of you who have been consistent in terms of these kind of sessions in Pune branch in the online webinars, Gamma app was also covered in one of the sessions, which would help you create presentations and all those things, right? So what you can do is you can simply just copy this folder of deep research, paste it in Gamma as an input, and create an entire visual research representation or a visual profile which you can submit to your client. And well, essentially you can provide that summary in that presentation format as well. Now, when we talk about ChatGPT, while it's still researching, let me take you back to Gemini. As I said earlier, one way is to share this as a document, to copy the content, paste it in your Word file, and work your way around it. But there is another benefit of using Gemini in deep research, right? It's called vibe coding, and based on that vibe coding, creating, let's say, a web page, an infographic, some quiz, flashcards, audio overview as well. So let's say this entire report is created, you're getting late for your meeting with the client. All you have to do is click on the audio overview section, and it's going to create an audio based learning for you. So it's going to be a next 5-10 minutes. You can just, while driving, listen to that audio overview and understand what is given in the report, and then accordingly present that report to your clients. So while it's presenting the audio overview itself, let's see if we are able to generate more responses from it also. So in this deep research, okay, we'll have to wait till it creates the audio overview, and then we'll have a look at what it has created. Then we'll also have a look at two other options, which is to generate in the form of a website. It will create an entire interactive website containing all the information provided in these 10-12 pages, 6 to 8 pages which are there. And also it can also create an infographic, which is basically a kind of a visual chart, a bird's eye view of whatever is there in the report. So let's have a look at both those features. We might have to wait a little bit till the point everything gets generated, but that's okay. We have also we are also continuing with the research here in ChatGPT. It's almost done. So let's have a look at it. Meanwhile, if you have any questions with regards to this kind of a deep research, with respect to any kind of prompt on this deep research, you can definitely put that out in the chat box or the Q&A box, whichever is available with you, and I'll be happy to assist you over there. So we'll just wait for a few minutes till this entire report generates. Okay, so Priyanka ma'am has a question that can this be shown in with Gamma as well? Sure, ma'am. So what I'll do is this entire document which has been created right now over here, what I'll simply do is I'll save this first of all. I'll download this as a Microsoft Word document, and let me just save it up over here. I'll open Gamma. Now you might have seen this template before. I'll create on new with AI, and then I'll simply use an existing file, which you can see. You can upload PowerPoints, Word documents, PDFs. You can import it from Drive, URL, all those things. So I'll just click on import from a Word file. I'll paste this deep research study over here. It's going to take up a minute. And once it does, it's going to provide us with the same workflow which is there in Gamma, right? So it's going to ask us to break the content slide wise. If you want to create a presentation, what would be the format of the presentation? Then it's going to be the same way it's whatsoever. So let's say I go here and break the content slide wise, card by card. Decide that I want to keep the content as it is, just a little bit more detailed. I'll select upon the theme over here. I'll select whether I need a kind of any images or anything like that. And based on all this, I can just go ahead to generate the presentation here. Now it would be beneficial if you have the paid version of Gamma, because there won't be much of a limit in terms of the slides and the number of content or the pages of content which you can use over here. So that again depends on what kind of subscription do you have. So there you have it, ma'am. This is how you essentially can create a presentation out of the deep research report just using that as an input in Gamma. Now I have another question from admin. What is guided learning below deep research in Gemini? Okay, so guided learning is a little bit towards the study side. Let's say you have an exam, right? This is what I did with my DSA exam also when I was giving that diploma in information systems audit. A couple of days before, what I did was I uploaded the modules of the institute in the chat itself, and I used the study mode over there. Study mode, what it does is instead of giving us direct information or direct responses, it is going to explain us the topics. So if I have any doubts, let's say what is the system development lifecycle in information system audit, it's going to break that entire topic down into understandable concepts, relatable examples, and all those things. So guided learning is something which can help you understand a concept in a more simple manner. Now we have another question from Deepak ji. For such deep research, which platform offers better result, Gemini or ChatGPT? So we'll have a look at it right now. So you can see the deep research in ChatGPT is also done. And in this deep research, you will be able to see that ChatGPT has been able to access around 34 sources which are there. On the contrary, when we look at Gemini, so if you see Gemini, the entire deep research, right over here at the end of it, it will give you all the list of websites which are there. So this is an inherent advantage with Google, that because of that kind of access to the internet, the data, the websites, it's basically able to access a lot more websites than ChatGPT. That being said, ChatGPT is good at certain things. It's not good at certain things. But for deep research, I would strongly recommend that we go ahead with Gemini because of the Google database which it carries. Right? So I hope that answers your question whether ChatGPT or Gemini is good for deep research. And okay, so we have created an audio overview. This is more of a 59, well, let's say this is a 1 hour overview which it has created. What I'll do is I'll just simply play the first couple of seconds to let you know as to what can be created, what can be done over here. And also I have gotten the create button back here in deep research. So the next point which I was saying, that you can also create web page and infographics, right? So once you want to create a web page out of this deep research report, I'll just click on the web page icon and it's going to start coding for me. I don't need to understand a single line of code. I don't need to understand what coding language it's using, how is it working, whatever it's doing. It's going to do everything by itself and it's going to present me an entire website ready to be deployed on my portal. So meanwhile, while that happens, I have gotten another question. Does it also have access to dark web? No, sir. Deep research is not able to access dark web. Dark web is essentially something which you are not able to search on the internet. Deep research is basically searching every corner of the internet which is searchable, or basically open information which is there for public to use. Right. There's another query. Is there a platform available that consolidates ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini into a single interface for conducting deep research? Okay. So this is interesting. So actually, sir, there might be multiple platforms. What they do essentially, at the same time, you cannot use all the three options, right? Before prompting, you'll have to decide which model you need to select. I'll tell you what I mean. When we talk about Gemini, so I'll just open up a new chat. The deep research and working will continue in the older one. While I open a new chat, you should be able to see this icon, Ask Gemini 3. You have the pro version, the fast version, the thinking version, all those versions are there. Then you have the different tools which are there. In ChatGPT, you will have similar things. In ChatGPT, you have something which is called GPT 5.2. And when we talk about Perplexity, this Perplexity is the answer to your solution, whether both of those tools can be present. Here you have certain buttons over here where you have one button to select a model. Once you click on that, you will be able to see Gemini 3 also in this place. You will be able to see ChatGPT 5.2 also in the place. And once you click on auto, So basically what does the auto feature do? Basically, if you're not doing selecting any model, it's by default in auto mode. So what this auto mode does is, based on your query, it will identify which is the best possible model to use. It's Gemini, Chat GPT, Perplexity, whatever models it has. Claude AI is also another one which is present over here. And based on that, it will perform your research. So this is basically what you can do. Again, you cannot do the same research at the same time with all these tools in a single research. You'll have to either have a comparative between the three, as okay, as said Kukilji has said the right thing, that we can use multi.ai to check, basically get all the results in the same place, right? So it's not that in the same research there will be all the three models, but you can have all the three reports under the same roof in different models. I hope that's clear. Now let's have a look at the website. It might have been created. Okay, it's created now. So this is what it has created for me. What I'll do is I'll open this up in a new window for you for a better viewing experience. So I'll just open this up over here. Alright, so I hope this website is visible. It has incorporated all the items which was there in the deep research into a particular interactive web page which you can use, you can study, and you can work on. So it has given us the executive verdict, that is a conditional go based on some supply chain risk, SEZ benefit, higher IRR potentials, all those things. I can click on the financial model and it has given me an entire revenue based composition, net profit sensitivity, what can be the EBITDA margin. Let's say I want a crash case scenario. So the moment I click that, let's say my since EPR price crashes by whatever percentage, it's 40% here, the drop is there. So in that case, what would my net profit be? What would be my revenue composition? All those things. But when I go on the other side, then also what would be the current scenario or the net profit percentage in that case? What would be the EBITDA margin? Then when we talk about the market intel, it has given us the current gold prices, copper EPR credits, all those things which are relevant for this particular business. They have given everything under the same website along with the risks which are there. And again, it has given us scenario A. There is an import ban. Once I click on that, the viability score goes down to 45%. I'll say that there's a gold crash, it won't that much affect it, but it would still have an effect. It'll go by 70%. So this is basically all the cases scenario A, B, basically a sensitivity analysis. Currently we are at 85% over here. So this is in a way what you can present to your management, to your clients in the form of deep research. This will give you a much better view of the situation. It will also help your client understand in a view which is much better, and definitely this has a value for quality, right? So you'll be able to provide a much better quality report to your client as well. Okay, and the last point which I wanted to share over here is, in this particular deep research report, there was one small option which is to create an infographic. Now, what is infographic? If you have heard of a tool called Notebook LM, that's again by Google. It is very famous in creating these kind of infographics. The moment I click on infographic, it's going to create me an entire image or a chart which summarizes all the information which is there. So while it creates, let's have a look at what it's going to create. So you can see it's giving you the detailed information here also, that it's developing the storyline, developing the design elements, technical implementation, all those things. And this is what it has created for us. Apologies. Okay, so let's wait for it to create that. It's still working on that. It would appear here on the right hand side. In the same way, you can also create an infographic using Notebook LM. Okay, so it's kind of working on the code itself right now. So let's wait for it to finish. Now I don't need to understand what this code is, if there are any errors in the code. Even if some error comes, I'll just get an option to fix those errors using AI itself. So that's something which we can also do. We don't need to have much information about what language or what coding it's doing. All right, so it's done over here. And this is the infographic which it has created. Now this is more of a single page scenario rather than a website with multiple tabs. It has given us all the information right here. Now we can directly copy the contents, share this as a PDF, share this as a specific link like we did for the website. All these options are available with you all under a single roof of Gemini. Once that deep research is complete, these are different ways in which you can communicate this deep research with your clients also. So this is more of a static web page or a static infographic page, which you can go ahead and print it up, and this is something which it would look like. Obviously now this is I'm printing the web page itself, but I can have the option of saving it as a PDF, copy the contents, paste it in the Word document, and then work my way through it. But since this is an HTML code based working, it would be much beneficial if we just continue with sharing the link. So yes, that is all about using deep research in Gemini. Now a couple of points to take care of. First thing, you need to identify and understand what your output needs to be, what kind of result you want. In this case, it was feasibility, whether we should go for it or not. Explain your prompt in as detail as you can. The more detail your prompt will be, the more beneficial that deep research will be for you. Otherwise, there's a saying in technology, garbage in, garbage out. No matter how good your research platform is, it will still give you a terrible research if your prompt is incorrect. So prompt engineering as at the top. Secondly, only share the information which has been permitted by the client. Make sure that you're not providing any kind of sensitive information without the required permissions, or you're redacting the data before sharing with Gemini or any other AI tool. And just with a bit of tweaking and continuous working on deep research and prompting, you'll be able to get great results from it, right? Okay, I have just one more question over here. Can we suggest changes to the outputs and infographics and recreate as per the specification? Yes, sir. But the only point over here is you'll have to go back to the main deep research document which is there and create an infographic from there. So you have a particular text box over there where you can suggest or basically give your preferences. Based on that, it will create the infographic for you. Does the deep research AI give a list of hypotheses? Yes, sir. At the end of every deep research, as you can see here on the page itself, it's going to give you the list of every website it has relied upon, every kind of data it has relied upon, and you can just simply click on these links and open the website and read it for yourself. So this is a good way in terms of what you can review based on what the deep research has worked on, and that can ensure that there is not kind of a fake or creative data being involved in the deep research. It will be all factual, it will be all original over there. Right, so that's all from my end. Again, in terms of deep research, some specific use case which you can provide is feasibility study. You can also basically research about a particular share of a company end to end, whatever impacts of legal environment or any other case laws or any other basically permutation combination of all those different factors which might be affecting the share. You can get a clear whether to buy the share, whether to sell the share, or let's say if it's a financial statement, you can have a look at whether the financials are as per the accounting standards, auditing standards, whether any discrepancies, is there a possibility of a fraud. All those things can also be done using deep research itself. So that's the power of what deep research can do, right? So thank you very much for being a patient listener. I'm here for any kind of questions which we have in the next 5-10 minutes. How deep research AI distinguish between reliable website and fake website? So, sir, in this case, what happens essentially is once we Google something up, let's say we are Googling how to, what is the share price of Infosys, there's a high chance that we'll get the NSE and BSE website as the top results. So this is exactly in the way in which deep research works. It will identify those results which are either at the top of a Google search or that are highly reliable. Now, how are they reliable? That depends on the security mechanism of the website. There are certificates, whether the website has a secure certificate layer and all those things. So you might have heard of this HTTPS right? So that's a secure website over there. In terms of the preference of the website, we can also give the website here in the prompt itself. If you have only one specific website which you wanted to search, you can give the website link on the prompt itself, and it's first going to search on that website. So for example, here it has researched on multiple websites. Mostly these websites come just like with the way in which you and I Google search. So this also essentially does that in the backend. It goes to Google search for the website, identify which website is relevant for our use case, and based on that, it's going to create a report for us. And essentially, if we still want to check as to whether the website is reliable, it gives us the link of the website also from where it has taken the information. So we can manually just ask it to correct that, we can ask it to change it, we can check the website ourselves and review it ourselves.
Are there some questions going on? So, I feel there are normally people need some time to practice and maybe they might have questions later on.
Definitely.
So we may schedule to ask this question later on also. Anyone from the participants, actually I had to be on some calls and I was on and off. So anyone would want to say something or sum up about how was the session? I can see Santosh Doshi sir is here. Sir, you would want to say anything?
Sir, you're on mute, I think.
Yes, sir, you're mute.
Hello. It was a fantastic session, obviously, and the inputs that has been given by Mr. Shishir. It was quite rather in a. It really will be rather enhancing our knowledge. As already she has told, Neha has told that we will require some time to rather practice the things, and then only we will be in a position to raise our queries. So that is a very good structure that we are adopting at Pune branch, and I wish all the success to this particular this we can say a development program that has been conducted by Pune ICAI. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I would want to ask the participants here that would you want a combined question answer sessions by past two, three speakers together? Then we can arrange that because last two times we most of the questions were solved during the sessions. Questions were put forth and they were solved. So I would want to ask your opinion so we can accordingly schedule.
Yes,
Anyone
that is
from
a.
the
Yeah, this is
audience?
also welcome, sir.
So you can maybe let me know on the group as well if anyone of you think that together we can have, because people who are regularly joining, I can see the names also. So they might have questions on various sessions. So maybe we can coordinate with the speakers and have one common session then.
So we've got.
Rishir, are you fine with it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
We
ma'am.
can have maybe in a few days, we
Definitely.
can, once some practice has been done, we can
Yeah,
have a question and answer session with past two,
definitely.
three participants together,
100%.
past two, three speakers together.
So there are.
Okay, then
Uh,
I think that if there are no more questions now, we can close today's sessions and we can hope that soon we will be again having the privilege of sharing our doubts and asking a few questions so that we can go further in our practice of these AI tools. So thank you so much, Rishir, for sparing time and giving your presentation for this valuable initiatives, which is helping all the members. So thank you so much, and thank you the participants who join regularly, because of whom we are also every time conducting these sessions with full enthusiasm. professionalism. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.